չկա, կարող եք խոսալ։ Դրանից հետո հարց ու պատասխան 15 րոպե ընդամենը պիտի լինի այս բաժինը։ Sarah Jan? Why not? Okay. Սերան իմիջայլոց, եթե չասի ես ասեմ, Impact Hub-ի համահիմնադիր եւ դարիների դնորեն եւ հիմա անցել է pedagogan կորձունեության, միգուցե խոսած դրա մասին։
Բարև բոլորին, շատ ուրախ եմ, ասեմ ձեզ, որ այս էկոսիստեմը, այս միջավայրը շատ եմ կարոտում, արդեն 2 տարի է, որ 2 ամիս, ոչ թե 2 տարի, 2 ամիս է, որ արդեն պիտի այսպեսի հագնվեմ եւ այսպեսի փին դնեմ իմ սութի վրա, բայց շատ շնորհակալ եմ կազմակերպիչներից եւ Ռուզաննա բոլորից, որ մեզ այսպեսի հնարավորություն եք տվել։ Երևի մի քիչ պատմեմ իմ մասին եւ հետո կիսվեմ մի քանի պատմություններով, ստորիներով։ Ուրեմն 7 տարի առաջ տեղափոխվեցի Հայաստան, ԱՄՆ-ից, դրանից առաջ իրավաբան էի, աշխատում էի Լոս Անջելեսում, քաղաքապետարանում որպես իրավաբան։ Եվ հետո զգացի, որ այդ ամբողջ ուսումը եւ այդ ամբողջ experience-ը, որ ես ունեի ԱՄՆ-ում, շատ ավելի արդյունավետ ձևով կարող եմ օգտագործեմ, ներդնեմ Հայաստանի կառուցման գործում։ Երբեք չէի պատկերացնի 7 տարի առաջ, որ եթե մեկը կասեր ինձի, որ մի օր դու կլինես Հայաստանի Հանրապետության կառավարության մեջ, երբեք չէի հավատա դա, միշտ ինքս ինձ համոզեցի, որ ոչինչ, մենք այդ կառուցելու ճանապարհի վրա ենք, կարող է պատահի, որ նույնիսկ իմ կյանքում չտեսնենք այն Հայաստանը, որ ուզում ենք, բայց ոչինչ, գոնե կգնամ Հայաստան եւ այդ ամեն ինչի մեջ կլինեմ, եւ ահա այսպես փոխվեց ամեն ինչ եւ հիմա մաս եմ կազմում եւ շատ հպարտ եմ դրանով։ Ինչ վերաբերվում է մեր այսօրվա թեման, hacking gender equality, գիտեք, իրոք սա կարևոր խոսակցություն է, ինչու է կարևոր խոսակցություն, ես երբ որ այս սեկտորի մեջ էի, այս էկոսիստեմի մեջ էի, այդքան չէի զգում կին լինելը, երևի կարող է տարօրինակ դա թվա ձեզ, բայց այստեղ շատ կարելի է ասել safe space է, այստեղ կան մարդիկ, որը երևի առաջի հերթին մտածում են ձեր իմ մեր բոլորի ուղեղի մասին, մտածում են կարողությունների մասին եւ այդպես մենք հավասար ենք, այսինքն մենք նույն լեզուն ենք խոսում, մենք նույն ձևով կարողանում ենք աշխատենք իրար հետ, բայց իհարկե դա շատ փոքր մասն է Հայաստանի եւ մանավանդ հիմա, որ պետական օղակներում եմ, զգում եմ ինչքան կարևոր է, որ ավելի կանայք մտածող, ոնց ասեմ, determined, ինչպես? Okay, կանայք լինեն մեր կառավարության մեջ, որովհետև դեռ, գիտեք, 50-ական թվականներին Ամերիկայում ասում էին Old Boys Network, հա, ասում էին, որ շատ դժվար է, որ կանայք մտնեն այդ Old Boys Network-ի մեջ եւ մշակույթը փոխենք, եւ իրոք մենք հիմա այդ ժամանակներն ենք ապրում, այսինքն ինչքան կարողանանք մանավանդ innovative մտածող մարդիկ բերենք մեր կառավարության մեջ, այդքան ավելի կշահենք։ Իհարկե շատ ավելի բաներ ունեմ դրա մասին խոսելու, բայց երևի այսքանով կավարտեմ եւ կփոխանցեմ իմ co-panelistներին։
Lernik, welcome. I have a question for you. I'm going to mess up the thing a little bit. Sarah's talked about the Old Boys Network, right? And about women supporting other women. Well, we didn't talk so much, but you know, there's a saying that when women crash through the glass ceiling, they lay down a marble floor for all other women coming up below them. In your experience, how has that been? I mean, how important is it for this girls network to support each other, and what has been your experience in the corporate world in that sense?
So I'm going to focus on your question, but first, do we know what this number represents here? Anyone? So this is 208. That means we are 208 years behind in gender parity in the United States. And this is the number of the years that we have to achieve in order to be gender equal or gender parity. So I worked in a urology department at National Cancer Institute, where most of my coworkers were males. My boss was surgeon-in-chief of NCI, and he was a male. And I was the only female coworker. And it has happened during the fellowship a lot that I have heard, oh, you cannot run this assay because you're a woman, or you cannot do this because it's complicated. But fortunately, I have been having very good mentors, and I've been around people who have supported me and paved the way for the success. So here is to people, it's cheers to people, to men and women. The men in the audience, that they're very rare, but their presence is very important today, because they are the ones that I will be recruiting today during this panel discussion to advocate for gender equality, because these are the women and men that understand what is it to be gender equal, what is it to have equal opportunities. So I think I have been fortunate in the terms that I have been very, very supportive with my mentors, being that male mentor or a female mentor, to actually achieve and succeed in my career. And I have always taken a path so is it okay if I share it in one of my slides to answer your question? Is it okay if we change that? So this is not far back. It was in December when I was applying for a job. And they were asking about the compensation, and I was like, okay, it doesn't matter. I know who I am. I know my expertise. But what I want from you is to actually offer me a job that is, if a male applicant would apply, you would pay him the equal amount with the same opportunities. And that is when I knew that I would be a good mentor for the next person who comes in, who works with me, and that's what my mentors taught me, to always negotiate for your right to be equal. And there's a typo in the email, but I still shared it so you know.
Coming back to the notion of advocacy and rights, if we don't stick up for our own rights, nobody else is going to. So it's also about self-respect. Because I had a similar experience when I was being offered a position. I said, I'm really tired of being undercut. I want to be valued for what I consider to be my contribution to this position. And I did get the job, and I did get the salary that I wanted. But you have to ask, and we shouldn't be afraid to ask. So now I want Asrik I want to say Pilabosyan. I don't know why Pilibosyan. You're also in the corporate world, IT, with the Hive Ventures. What has your experience been like working in a predominantly male, I would imagine, sector?
Հայերեն կխոսամ, ու ճիշտն ասած այսօր ես եկել եմ մի քիչ դժվար ճշմարտությունն ասելու, ու դժվար ճշմարտությունը այն է, որ այո, կա gender inequality, բայց վերջին տարիներում այնքան է տրենդ դարձել կանանց support անելը, կանանց համար ծրագրեր սարքելը։ Օրինակ, եթե հենց հիմա ձեր մոտ կան հեռախոսներ ու դու Google անեք, պրոստը Google անեք acceleration programs for female founders, ցուցակը գնում է եւ գնում է։ Հիմա տրենդը կանայք բոլորը ման են գալիս female founder-ներ։ Ու այստեղ իմ մեսեջը կայանում է նրանում, որ awareness-ը կա։ Հաջորդ փուլը իրականում այդ այնա, որ մենք իրոք աշխատանք անենք։ Չմտածենք, որ մենք կին ենք, մեզ diversity-ը պետք, կամ ինչ-որ մենք ինչ-որ բանով մեզ լավ չեն նայում։ Ես ուղղակի իմ փորձով միշտ համոզված եմ եղել, որ եթե ինչ-որ մեկը professional է, ոչ մեկ նրան downgrade չի անի, ոչ մեկ նրան թարս չի նայի եւ հավասարի պես կխոսան։ Մի քիչ ինքը ցենց դառը ճշմարտություն է, բայց ուղղակի ուզում եի դրա մասին խոսել։ Իսկ groundwork-ի մասին, որ ամեն հաջողակ կին իր հաջորդների համար օրինակ է ծառայում, դրա մասին էլ կուզենայի ասեի, որ ամեն հաջողակ կին ոչ միայն օրինակ ծառայելուց պետքա սովորի մյուս կանանց support անել։ Երբեմն այնքան դժվար է ճանապարհը հաջողակ դառնալու, որ շատ ժամանակ դժվար է լինում կիսել այդ փորձը, այսինքն դու այդքան տանջվել ես ու հիմա ինչ որ մեկը հեշտ հասնի այդ ճանապարհին։ Էդ էլ է մի բան, որ էլի դառը ճշմարտություն է, ուզում եմ կիսվել ձեր հետ, որ ամեն մեկին, որ դուք օգնում եք, անկախ նրանից ինչքան դժվար է ձեր համար եղել, ամեն մեկին դուք օգնելով միայն ավելի ուժեղ եք դառնում։ Այդքանով իմ դառը ճշմարտությունները սահմանափակվում են այսօրվա համար։
Իսկ ոչ դառը ճշմարտություն կա։
Ոչ դառը ճշմարտություն կա ու ճշմարտությունը կայանում է նրանում, որ արդեն այսօրվա դրությամբ ունենք այսքան աղջիկներ, որոնք հետաքրքրված են tech-ով, աղջիկներ, որոնք հաջորդ քայլում լինելու են founder-ներ, եւ ունենք արդեն հաջողակ դեպքեր, որ female founder-ները լավ ծրագրեր ունեն, ինչպիսիք են Solo Learn-ը, Defect-ը, իրանք շատ արդեն հաջողակ օրինակներ են, որ կարող ենք նայել ու տեսնել, որ դա ընդհանրապես դժվար չի։ Կա մեծ support, աջակցություն եւ ընդհանրապես նորից պետք է աշխատել եւ օգնել իրար։
Եթե հարցեր կան, որ ուզում եք ուղղել, մեծ հաճույքով կարող ենք տալ այդ հարցերը, եթե ոչ, ես կարող եմ մինչև վաղ առավոտ խոսալ, բայց ինձ թվում է չեք ուզում որ կան հարցեր, ժողովուրդ։ Pardon? In English? Hi, if there's anybody who has questions, yeah, of course. I'm sorry, I'm deaf too. Does anybody have any questions they'd like to ask our panelists before we move on? No? Okay, so just to follow the pattern that we were on, Sarah, as a diaspora in Armenia, moving to Armenia, and you said something that was really interesting. You said it was the first, and I have the similar experience. I never thought of myself as a woman. I mean, obviously I'm a woman, I think, and I never thought about it until I moved to Armenia, where I kept being reminded that I'm a woman, right? So, coming from North America, it was kind of jarring at first. And, when the men would open the door or do something, I would think, oh, how gentlemanly, how gallant. We've lost that in North America. And then I realized it was kind of a facade, and they're doing it because they think you're the weak sex and all of this. And sometimes, especially when you have to do remont, you always need to have a man because the contractor doesn't always want to deal with you. So now you've moved from the sort of private sector, if you will, the civil society sector, after you established Impact Hub, and going into the state governance. There's a lot of really cool women right now in government, not necessarily at top levels, but in second tier, third tier. Were they not considered, do you think, because of lack of experience, or is it still those lingering stereotypical notions that exist?
It's such a great question, and I'm not sure that I know the answer yet, but I will say that the current government structures still have inherited the language and and I want to use the word space, but the language and the spaces of men, and And I have been in meetings where I would be the only woman. Few people are like even smoking. Every other word is like achber, this kind of stuff, right? And so that's not the way a lot of women make deals, right? Women make deals in a different way, okay? And so when you're in the kind of surrounding where your communication method, your language, the way you interact is not really welcome there or is going to be weird, then you don't speak up, right? I'm in my 40s. I'm kind of done not speaking up, right? But even now, when you're in that kind of an ecosystem, let's call it that, that's not really supportive of a female voice, then you kind of don't speak up. And that's still where we are right now in our government. On the other hand, there's incredible women who are, you're right, deputy minister level women, and those are the people I get the most work done with, honestly.
Yeah.
And that happens, and that's where the work is really getting done. And thank goodness for those really smart women.
This sisterhood notion, I don't want to cubbyhole ourselves, but it is about spaces, right? The patriarchal space, the closed sisterhood. I always call Sarah my sister, my comrade in arms, right? My sister in arms, because we think alike, and I am done too. I'm done. I talk all the time. All the time, right? Before, like you, I'd have an opinion, but I'd be so afraid to express that opinion, and then some schmuck sitting beside me says the same thing, and everyone's like, bravo, and I'm like, idiot, you should have said something. Have you found yourself in that kind of position before?
So yes, I actually had it in my talk. So it happens that a colleague would pitch something, I would pitch something, and then the men they earn more, but they do more work, and that work is that they pitch for themselves, and then they also have to pitch the work of the female coworker, which she just mentioned, just in a masculine way. So he just changes his voice, and he just says, oh, by the way, this is something we could do. And it has happened to me several times that a lot of projects that I was working on, a colleague would say it, and I was like, oh, I said it just a minute ago. But yes, that's something we experience on a day-to-day basis. But however, I do not agree with the notion of sisterhood, because to achieve gender equality, it's not only women who should work together. It is the men. It's the whole society. We are like it's a spider web. We are connected people. We are a network of people. And today, if my father doesn't understand what is to be gender equal, what is it to achieve gender parity, I cannot survive in that world. If my boyfriend doesn't support me in my career to become the person I should be, then we have a problem. Supporting each other as women, it's very, very important, and I always support my students, my coworkers, and everybody else. But also it is important to include men in the conversation, because gender equality is not a matter of woman, because gender is a very understood word, and I believe that a lot of notions come into play when you tell gender equality. Is it gender identity for me? If I look into the mirror and you ask me who you are, I will tell you I'm a woman. But if you look at an African-American woman and you ask Sarah, what do you see in the mirror? She will tell you she's an African, she sees a black woman, and that brings a whole different perception of life. And if you ask a person with a different sexual identity, she would explain you something else. And so I think it's more about including all people rather than the sisterhood, rather than the small communities. Yes, work on the community level, very important, but also engaging male partners is essential for achieving gender parity.
Yeah, undoubtedly. But it was just about supporting each other, to lift each other up. I always say that we complain about the men, right? The stereotypical man. They don't support enough. They don't do this enough. But we raise them, right? Who's raising the boys? I raised a boy. Who's raising a boy? How do you raise that boy? How many of you are raising daughters, right? What do you tell your daughter? You tell your son, right? I mean, that's a stereotype as well. But I think sometimes we also need to take responsibility, and that's what I was saying in the beginning. You guys weren't here. We are all responsible for the situation that we're in.
I totally agree. And I think one thing that we can change is to be an example. For example, I see a lot of women raising their kids, like their girls, very carefully. They do everything for their education. They spend no time for themselves. But at the end, they stay home. They don't go to work. They don't become an example. So when this girl becomes a woman, she'll think, okay, I'll get my education, I'll do everything I'm supposed to do, but then when comes the question about marriage and then being parent or the career, they just remember that all they've seen was, family, mom. They never seen their mom going to work every day. struggling. I'm not saying raising kids is not a struggle. It's a big struggle. I have 2 kids, and people ask me how is it to balance career and work. It's hard. It's very, very hard. You pretty much cry every evening, and then you cry every morning, but then you have happy moments when you realize you're actually doing something and you're an example. So even like today, I had to take my kid to swimming class, but I also had a meeting. So I asked, can you please come to the gym and we'll have our meeting there. So it's juggle all the time, but you can do it. At the end of the day, you're becoming an example.
I think you touched upon a point. How much time do we have? Are we okay or are we wrapping up? We're wrapping up. Yeah, we're wrapping up. But I think it is about balance, but I think it's about choice, right? Having the choice. When in my generation, right, I always felt like my generation got screwed by the feminists of the 60s because they said, go out, have a career, get an education. But my husband was still stuck in the 19th century, right?
True.
So it's kind of like here, right? We keep telling the girls, you have to be strong, you have to do this, you can do that. But the men are still stuck.
Yeah,
right?
I cannot... True, I cannot diminish all the support I got from my husband.
Me too.
He's always pushing me forward. He wants me to succeed even more than I want myself to succeed, and he's calling me right now to ask me about it, I guess. But I just couldn't be where I am without him. It's very important to find that person that can support you.
It comes to what Levnik's saying. It's about partnership, camaraderie between the sexes, right? So we support each other, we lift each other up for the sake of what? Our society, our communities, our humanity. So I think maybe on that note, we wrap it up. If you guys just want to say 1 or 2 sentences to close, and then we'll move on to the pitching, yeah?
Perfect. I guess I have the microphone, and I'll say my words of wisdom. And my words of wisdom are, don't be afraid to fail. Don't be perfectionist, because women are known for that. They will never ask for salary increase if they don't feel like they were perfect. But that's not the case. Do something, fail, do it again, be better, and take the responsibility as much as you can and be a leader.
So I'm hoping there will be a day when I will come back here in 2 years, 3 years, and this conference wouldn't be about gender equality, but it would be how to raise innovative leaders in the field of technology or biotech industry. And if I have to leave you with one thing, is to speak up, because the time is running and we are not doing anything about gender equality. So if you see something that is not working for you, just talk about it. If it's one conversation per week with one male partner or with a friend or with a colleague, just speak about it. Speak about gender equality, speak about opportunities, and I think that's the way you can educate people and you can achieve something in our lifetime. Because even if I was pregnant right now and the average life of the human being was 72 years, I wouldn't see the gender equality, and that's very terrifying to me. So please speak up.
I think I'll end with not my words, but the words of Sheryl Sandberg, who is the Chief Operating Officer of Facebook. And she has on her wall a poster that says, "Imagine what you would do if you were not afraid." Because so much of what we do, not just women, men as well, is dominated by fear, right? And so imagine, all of you amazing young people in the audience, what you would do if you weren't afraid.
That's it. Thank you to these brilliant women. Thank you. Hello? Okay. So now it's my great pleasure to introduce another amazing woman, Ani Baboumian of Impact Hub. Where are you? There she is. You're so special, you can get...
Hi everyone, Bare Bolorin.
Ես Անին եմ, Impact Hub Երևանի տնօրեն։ Մարիա ջան, շատ շնորհակալ եմ նաև UNDP եւ Impact Aim-ին այս միջոցառումը կազմակերպելու համար։ Ուրեմն ուզում եմ շատ կարճ մենակ բացատրեմ Accelerate 2030 ծրագրի մասին, որ Impact Hub-ի եւ UNDP համատեղ ծրագիրն է։ Սկսվել է Ջենիվայից եւ այս տարի 16 երկրներում այս ծրագիրը անցկացվում է Վենեսուելա, Էլ Սալվադոր, Բրազիլ, մինչև South Africa, Nigeria, Zimbabwe, մինչև Turkey, Armenia, Serbia, Philippines, Venezuela, մի խոսքով շատ երկրներում արդեն անցկացվում է յուրաքանչյուր երկիր ունի national, այսինքն ամեն երկիր անցկացնում է իր երկրում 3-ից 4 ամսով scale readiness program Ինչ է նշանակում scale readiness, այսինքն պատրաստում ենք այն մի քիչ անգլերեն բառեր պիտի օգտագործեմ, կներեք, այն impact driven venture-ներին, ովքեր արդեն պատրաստ են եւ պատրաստվում են scale անելու։ Այսինքն նախ սկսում եք գաղափարից, հա, այսինքն դուք գաղափար ունեք, հետո թեստավորում եք, հետո ինչ որ team եք հավաքում, սկսում եք ինչ որ operational ունենալ, հետո սկսում եք ձեր առաջին հաճախորդները ունենալ, մի խոսքով կամած մեծանում եք, իսկ երբ որ պատրաստ եք արդեն online-վել, մեծանալ, ուրիշ երկրներ մտնել, ուրիշ market մտնել, ուրիշ շուկա մտնել, կամ թեկուզ Հայաստանում ուրիշ քաղաքներում բացել ձեր, ասենք, ընկերությունը, դա scaling է կոչվում այդ շրջանը։ Ուրեմն Accelerate 2030-ին հիմնականում կենտրոնանում է scaling այդ փուլին եւ Հայաստանում մենք ընտրեցինք 9 venture, չգիտեմ հայերեն ոնց են ասում, ովքեր որ գոնե մեկ SDG թիրախ ունեն, այսինքն նաև իրենք պիտի SDG-ների հետ այսինքն ինչ որ SDG-ներից մեկին դա լինի իրենց ոնց որ նպատակը եւ հիմա շատ ուրախ կլինեմ որ հրավիրեմ Ալեքսին, իմ գոլեգան, որ մեկ կհրավիրի այստեղ, մենք այսօր 8 ընտրել ենք 9, մեկը հարգելի պատճառներով չի մասնակցելու, իսկ 8-ը ունենալու են ներկայացնելու են իրենց ծրագիրը եւ ժյուրին ընտրելու է top 3 լավագույն 3-ը եւ 2 candidate եւ մենք այս 5-ի ոնց որ անուններ ուղարկելու ենք international jury-ին International jury-ին միջև 10 օր ընտրելու է բոլոր 16 երկրներից լավագույն 10-ից 12-ն, որոնք որ իսկապես իրենց solution-ով, իրենց ինչ product-ով եւ solution-ով կարող են արագ scale լինել։ Եվ նպատակը այն է, որ ընդհանուր համաշխարհային UN, UNDP, UNICEF եւ impact investor-ների միջոցով աջակցեն, որ իրենք արագ ընդլայնվեն եւ կարողանան ուրիշ երկրներ մտնել։ Սա այս ծրագրի նպատակն է, արդեն 3-րդ տարին է, որ անցկացնում ենք եւ երևի այդքանը խնդրեմ ժյուրին երևի հրավիրեն, որ գան եւ խնդրում եմ եկեք ձեր լապտոպները, որտեղ մենք թղթով չենք, spreadsheet-ով ենք խնդրելու, որ spreadsheet-ի մեջ պիտի ձեր թվերը դնեք։ Միջև ժյուրին պատրաստվի գա Alex, maybe you can start introducing yourself, please. So, they went to pick up their laptops, so you can start.
And then I'll come. Okay. I'll do it after. Hi, everyone. Thank you for all being here. It's my great pleasure to present today all these startups and organizations. They work in various fields, education, health, transportation, waste management, and all make very, very good use of Armenia's very vibrant and forward-looking tech ecosystem. I have had the pleasure to work with them and to meet with all of them over the last few months. They are, I'm French-Armenian, and I've come to Armenia for the first time like 4 months ago, and I've been really, really impressed by the work they've been doing. They have some really cool, innovative solutions to present today, and I hope that one day they will be presenting in front of crowds of thousands because I think they all deserve a shot at that. So we're waiting for the jury, which I hope will be here soon. The first startup that will be presenting just after the presentation of the jury is a company called Macroponics. They work in the agricultural industry and are looking to revolutionize how Armenia thinks about water management, how it thinks about how to produce fruit and veg. But I'm not going to spill the beans that much. I'll let Kirk Wallace at the back do that in a second. Yeah. Okay.
So ուզում եմ ժյուրիի անդամներին հրավիրեմ ISTC տնօրեն Արեգ Գևորգյան Impact Aim UNDP Impact Aim ծրագրի ղեկավար Ռուզաննա Սաֆարյան Եվ Impact Hub-ից մեր Community and Events Manager Arman Խաչատրյան Շատ ծանր է ձեր վրա պատասխանատվությունը, որովհետև անունները ուղարկելու ենք international jury եւ եթե ինչ-որ խնդիր լինի ես կգամ կօգնեմ Okay, Kirk Very good to go.
We live in the age of global climate change, and the question here before us today is what impact this climate change is going to have on Armenia's ability to grow food and provide clean water for its citizens. Now, I could sit here and give you dozens and dozens of research findings and statistics on how bad it's going to be, but I think I'm going to settle on three things, three statistics that are particularly frightening for me. Number one, it's projected by 2100 that Armenia will lose 25% of its agricultural production. Additionally, it will lose 41% of its access to clean water. And currently, we have 20% of the population that suffers from food insecurity, and this will rise precipitously as well as climate change hits the country. So these are big issues, and these are big, huge questions, and we need serious solutions for them. And we at Aquaponics think we have found one in aquaponic food production. Aquaponics is the combination of hydroponics, which is growing food without soil, and aquaculture, which is growing fish in tanks. And how it works is we connect a fish tank to hydroponic equipment, and we take the fish waste, the solid and the liquid stream, and we run it through a grow bed or a biodigester. At this point, Mother Nature takes over and converts that waste stream to organic fertilizers. The plants pull these fertilizers out of the water, and they clean the water at the same time in the process. And that water is then recirculated back to the fish. Those that practice aquaponics will notice three positive impacts, five, I should say, or more positive impacts immediately. Number one, it uses 90% less water than soil production. 90%. It grows 20 to 30 times the amount of plants per square meter as does soil, with the added benefit of having a fish protein source there as well. Additionally, it can be grown anywhere because we do this in greenhouses, and it's sustainable. There is no use of any chemical fertilizers, herbicides, or pesticides in this system. And if that's not enough, we believe that this tech has scalable potential that's really off the charts. When we say this, we're particularly talking about the biodigester here. We take the fish, it goes through the system into what is called a biodigester. This biodigester is a patented process. It's the only one of its kind in the world, and what it's able to do is take both waste streams, solid and liquid, and convert this waste into what are called chelated micronutrients. The added benefit of these nutrients is that the plants that grow are more nutrient rich than normal plants, and they grow faster, up to 2 to 3 times faster than soil plants. And in fact, in the industry, this biodigester is becoming known as the missing link. The missing link that will make aquaponics globally scalable because it could take the entire waste stream. And we are lucky to have it here in Armenia. If you're looking for another revenue stream, this biodigester can also handle cow waste, pig waste, poultry waste, and other waste, turning them into organic fertilizers. Now we're building a system up in a little village called Detmashen. And we are so confident with this proven technology that we have projected a really robust 3-year revenue stream, bolstered by the fact that our marketing research shows that there's going to be an increasing demand every year for the foreseeable future of at least 5% in clean and organically grown produce. Additionally, we are quite confident that our competitive advantage is unique. We are the only company that does large-scale commercial aquaponics in Armenia. We are the only one licensed to use the technology, and we have the most experience in global design, production, and training. Back to Detmashen, where we're going to do this. We are asking we're in the last stages of getting our funding together for the build out of this system in Detmashen. And excuse me, and essentially this is the team that's going to accomplish that goal. And we are, as I've neglected to say earlier, our company is called Aquaponics. My name is Kirk Wallace, and we thank you for your time.
Kirk, sorry. So yeah, we now have 2 minutes of questions from the judges who will ask a bit more about the project.
Okay. So probably my question, I remember the project maybe, I've heard the pitch maybe a year ago, and I know the guys that were pitching again, they're doing this in Detmashen maybe 2 years ago. So what have been accomplished until now? And like 2019, I remember, the Nerouge competition. You're participating there also, and I remember that you had also plans for 2019. So it's interesting for me what has been accomplished during these 6 months or I don't know, 9 months that we haven't met.
Good question. I was here, as you said, in Dilijan and Nerouge. At that time, our CEO, Anima Kirchan, did the pitch. Since that time, I have moved here. One of the things that it became clear is that I had to be here to do the training. We just completed, for example, I left my company, the company I started that does aquaponics, to move to Armenia to do the training. We did a build over in Nigeria, for example, for the World Bank, and there was no training involved in it, so it kind of fell through the cracks there. So in the 6 months since you saw me in Dilijan, I've packed up, bought an apartment, moved out here to do the training and the build. That's the main difference. Is like, if we want to get it moving, I got to come out here and do it.
Yeah, thanks for the pitch. Maybe my question would refer rather to the program itself. I mean, what are your expectations from Accelerate 2030? Like, you're part of it, you've been going through this journey, and you're basically targeting to go to the international pitch event. What do you expect from the program?
I get to go to Geneva, what do I expect from it? I expect to meet like-minded individuals that share an ethos and bringing social impact, change to the world, positive impact. This is not, when I'm up here pitching, for me, this is serious. Climate change is a problem, and we need to do things right now. This company of ours wants to expand not only in Armenia, but in the region. And not only do we want to tackle agriculture, but this can also tackle other problems that Armenia is facing as well, like aquaculture, which is sucking up water out of the aquifer like nobody's business. We can take that water and recirculate it and use the same kind of thing. So what I hope to gain from going to Geneva is networking with people that might be able to collaborate or partner in this venture.
So do I get it right that your main focus currently is Armenia, but you're also looking at new opportunities like for scaling up to the international, or this is out of discussion for the moment?
Yeah, it is currently Armenia. However, the idea is always to establish a hub, sort of, here, a tech hub in Armenia. One thing that I've learned is that all the post-Soviet nations are facing the same issues that Armenia is practically. They all speak a common language, and if we can make Armenia the base for this technology, they'll come here to learn. They'll come to Armenia to learn how to do aquaponics. They'll come here to learn how to use this biodigester. That's what I want for Armenia.
Thank you, Kirk. I'd like to welcome next Irina from ISSD. You might have seen some of their projects already through Yerevan of the first recycling bins. So she'll now give her pitch.
We Armenians like to be the best in everything. And recently, USA Today published an article where we are in top 10 countries. Top 10 countries with the most amount of waste. We, a country with 3 million people, are number 6 in this list. This has to change. And our organization is presenting Recycle It, driving plastic into circularity. In our everyday life, we can see trash everywhere, especially recently. What is being done, the trash, or as we like to call it, resources, are being delivered to legal and illegal dumpsters, where they are being burned, leading to emission of extremely dangerous chemicals, and the leach is affecting our water, our air, our land, and us, the nature, humans of nature. So what can we, a group of activists, do about it? In approximately 1 year, our organization managed to partner with 200 organizations and challenge them to sort and recycle their waste. We managed to collect and send to recycling station 100,000 kilograms of sorted waste. Approximately 200,000 people benefited from different activities of our project. So what is our solution? We offer a very simple solution, installing recycling bins all across our country, collecting the waste and sending it to recycling. Currently, we're going to work with our partner Armplast and produce synthetic winterizer. And from 1 kilogram of plastic bottles, we're going to get 0.85 kilograms of synthetic winterizer, which is currently being only imported to Armenia. Except for this, we also are planning on reaching 400 partner organizations by 2020 instead of current 200. And we're developing an app, a platform and an app, which is going to make our life easier. So you might ask how. Our partner organizations will be able to change the active status of their bins from empty to full so that our organization can go and pick the waste. They also get information about their ecological footprint. They get information about the waste that has been collected and recycled. Also, they get access to dozens of educational and other materials. Simultaneously, the app is going to connect us, the organizations that are collecting the waste, and logistics companies. For example, a taxi driver going from point A to point B without anything can stop on the way, pick up the waste, and make additional money. Talking about SDGs, in reality, we currently are aiming at 3 main SDGs, one of them being the climate change. Because seriously, if we don't do something about our climate, everything else is simply nothing. We're also targeting sustainable consumption and production, as well as clean water. But if we talk about global, our organization, the reality is that we are tackling many more issues. We offer trainings, we create jobs, we ensure that frontier communities have enough access to develop their skills. And most importantly, we do partnership for real goals. As of today, we have raised approximately $150,000, and we are going to make $15,000 a month after the machine is fully utilized. And finally, we believe that it's not about the idea itself, it's also about the team. We, as you can see, a very male-dominant organization, started with only one female, myself, and as of today, I am super happy to say that we have equal male and female members in our organization. Thank you.
Yep, I am here. Thanks for the presentation. I have a question about financial sustainability. I mean, how financially sustainable is this? And if it is not, how do you see yourself becoming financially sustainable?
So currently our organization generally is working on the funds and donations, but the waste sorting service is actually, organizations are paying for this, and we managed already to ensure the sustainability after our grant money was over. Besides, our organization has purchased a machine that is going to recycle plastic into synthetic winterizer, and it has very high demand in Armenia, so we are going to sell this and make additional income from this, which will cover all our costs.
Maybe a question from my side. ISTC is also partnering with you, and we are very happy with that. Of course, the amounts are not so big for a company to pay for recycling. But it is interesting for me, is the paid model the bottleneck for scaling in Armenia? Like, why it is 200, not 2,000, for example, companies that work with you?
So we started our project in 2018, and our target was to reach 50 organizations in 1 year. We managed to reach 200 with very limited resources. So the reality, the resources that we had were aimed at components that we managed to cut the cost and make it 200 out instead of 50. The amount is small, you are right, but it's not only about the service that we're providing, for example, to your organization, but we're also providing trainings, educational materials. And with this new equipment that we have purchased, we're going to sell a final product, which is a very beneficial one.
Okay.
So my question would practically, again, be related to the business model, but like the other side, like the demand side of it. So we're talking about the angel side, working with the different companies who are using your services. But when we go to the back end, like you have like sufficient amount of paper that needs to be recycled. So there is another set of companies that you're working with for this purpose. Exactly. So something that would be interesting for me to know, percentage-wise, which percent of your revenue is coming from working with providing as a service to the companies, and then which part of your revenue is coming from the recycling part, working with the private sector companies, or you're recycling it yourself? I mean, just some details on like the revenue generation when it comes down to working with the other part.
So currently in Armenia, when you provide the waste for recycling, you are getting extremely minimum amount of money, which is like 10 to 40 drams for paper, different types of paper, and 100 to 150 for plastic, which is like, these are the two most commonly collected types of waste. So with 100,000 kilograms that we have collected and delivered to the recycling stations, I can say that approximately 60% of this is plastic, making it 6 million. And the rest is like very minimum amount for paper, glass, and metal. And except for this, for the services, so we have 200 partner organizations. Out of them, approximately 90 are paying us. And the average fee per month per organization is 7,000 drams.
Thank you, Irina. Next, I would like to introduce Embry Tech.
There are 1.6 billion overweight people in the world, and this number is growing every second. People spend $225 billion annually on weight loss. However, 70% of people who lose weight within 1-2 years regain more weight than they have lost. We discovered the why. Why people regain weight? First, when they reach desired weight, they lay back and stop using the scale anymore. Second, weight regain happens very slowly and unnoticed. To stop these yo-yo cycles, we invented Embry. Embry is a smart shoe insole which automates weight tracking and physical activity tracking, helps people maintain weight loss and lead healthy lives. Embry weight tracking insole is a combination of a smart scale, an activity tracker, and a wellness coach. Currently, we have the product with utility patent pending, ready for mass production. Meanwhile, we are in negotiations with Level Up H2O, Level Up Activity Initiative, to fight the childhood obesity and diabetes in the public schools of the United States. Currently, we are collecting our early adopters list and aiming to ship first 100 units at the end of this year. Next, we are launching a crowdfunding campaign to collect over 10,000 pre-orders. Our advisory board consists of professors and researchers from Stanford, MIT, Georgia Tech Institute, and so on. These organizations believe in us. So far, we have raised $370,000 in grants and investments. We are not here to align our company with SDGs. We started this venture with SDGs in our DNA. For instance, we started the company to empower people to overcome global